Picture this. It's the weekend of May 1st.
Okay.
And across the globe, cinema managers are just, like, staring at their ticketing system.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, taking a deep breath and just collectively muttering to their staff, "Gird your loins."
That is honestly the perfect cinematic preparation for what actually hit those theaters.
Right.
I mean, the industry was bracing for impact, sure, but I really don't think anyone predicted the sheer scale of the shockwave.
Because, we aren't talking about the opening weekend of some new superhero epic.
No,
We aren't looking at, like, a dinosaur franchise or another alien invasion.
definitely not.
We are talking about the overwhelming, absolute box office domination of The Devil Wears Prada 2.
It's still wild to even say it out loud.
It really is. And that is exactly what we are focusing on today. We're taking a really close look at the entertainment industry analysis and the box office data that you shared with us.
Yeah, we're going on a deep dive to figure out how a sequel to, well, a 2006 workplace comedy managed to pull in these numbers.
Numbers that currently have rival studio executives literally weeping into their financial projections.
Oh, wow, they are panicking because, you look at the current cinematic landscape, right? It's heavily dominated by these CGI spectacles.
Right, established action franchise.
Exactly, and legacy reboots. And a comedy doing this seems almost impossible.
Yeah.
But suddenly, here comes Miranda Priestley strolling in and just demanding the top spot at the global box office without a single explosion or like a multiverse in sight.
So whether you are a diehard fan of the original movie who has quoted it for 2 decades, or, you're just someone fascinated by the highly unpredictable economics of modern Hollywood, this case study is an absolute masterclass.
It really is.
Because this isn't just about reading box office receipts. It's about audience psychology.
Absolutely.
It is about strategic studio investment, and it's about knowing exactly what people want before they even realize they want it. So, okay, let's unpack this.
I think we should ground this in the sheer scale of what happened on that opening weekend.
Good idea.
Because the numbers themselves tell a really fascinating story about shifting audience priorities. I mean, we are looking at a $77 million domestic opening.
Which is just huge.
It is, paired with an international haul of $233 million right out of the gate.
So, just to put that in perspective for everyone, the original film, back in 2006, opened to $27 million domestically.
Right.
Now, $27 million was a very respectable number back then for a comedy, but next to $77 million.
Right.
The analysis you shared with us notes that it makes the original look like an indie movie by comparison.
It really does.
It's like watching a beloved indie band from your college days suddenly sell out a global stadium tour.
That is the perfect way to look at it. I mean,
Right.
they went from playing the local club to headlining Wembley.
Yeah.
But what is really crucial to understand about the entertainment data you provided is that this massive opening is just the first part of a highly calculated release strategy.
Right. They knew what they were doing.
Oh, completely. This isn't one of those front-loaded opening weekends where everyone rushes out on a Friday and then the numbers drop off a cliff by Monday morning.
The studio basically weaponized the calendar.
Exactly.
Because the second Sunday in theaters for this movie happens to be American Mother's Day.
Yep.
And that is definitely not a coincidence.
Not at all. They are anticipating a massive Mother's Day bump.
Which is huge.
Right, because in typical box office tracking, a standard movie will see a 50 to 60% drop in revenue during its second weekend.
Sure, people move on to the next thing.
It's gravity, right? The initial hype fades. But the Mother's Day bump subverts that gravity entirely.
Yeah, because you have countless people taking the moms, the aunts, the grandmothers in their lives out to celebrate.
Exactly. It transforms a standard second weekend into a multi-generational secondary event.
What's fascinating here is that the original film was no slouch either. I mean, it is easy to look at these new superhero-sized numbers and sort of forget the context of 2006.
Very true.
The first film made over $326 million total globally, and it stood as the 12th highest earning movie of its entire year.
Which is massive for a comedy.
But the real achievement isn't just the money it made back then, it's the cultural real estate it has occupied for the last 20 years. Like, the relevance simply hasn't waned.
It hasn't. It became a foundational text for a certain demographic. I mean, you catch it on cable, you see the memes endlessly circulating on social media.
The memes are everywhere.
Right. You hear the dialogue in everyday conversation. That built-in legacy provides a massive launch pad.
Definitely.
But as we have seen time and time again in Hollywood, a legacy alone does not guarantee a 300 million plus opening weekend 2 decades later.
And that perfectly sets up the danger zone, right? The delayed comedy sequel.
Oh, the curse.
Yeah, because massive numbers don't just happen by accident. And they certainly don't happen just because a studio slaps a number 2 on a familiar title.
No, audiences are too smart for that now.
Exactly. The notes you shared specifically brought up some notorious examples of this feeling,
Oh yeah, painful ones.
like Zoolander 2, Speed 2, Cruise Control, Son of the Mask.
Oof, Son of the Mask.
I know, right? These are films that tried to recapture lightning in a bottle years after the original, and they tanked spectacularly.
The graveyard of those delayed sequels is vast. It really is. And the central problem with those failures is that they lacked a compelling reason to exist beyond, financial opportunism.
Right, just cashing in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just took older actors and forced them to rehash the original jokes.
Which never works.
Never. Audiences are incredibly savvy. They can smell a cynical cash grab from a mile away, and they will just stay home.
Yeah.
But The Devil Wears Prada 2 avoided this curse by actually having something vital to say about the world we live in right now.
Right, the plot is the antidote to the cash grab here. They didn't just have Andy Sachs fetch more coffee.
No, thank goodness.
The core conflict of this new movie is the struggle to do real, human, ground-level journalism in the age of artificial intelligence and the endless churn of social media.
It's so relevant.
It takes the high-stakes world of fashion publishing and slams it right into the very real anxieties of the modern digital worker.
And that plot wasn't just a clever marketing hook. It was the mechanism that unlocked the entire project.
Really?
Yeah, screenwriter Aline Brosh McKenna confirmed that this meaningful, timely conflict is the absolute only reason Meryl Streep agreed to return as Miranda Priestley.
Wow.
And if we look at the mechanics of why that works so perfectly, think about who Miranda Priestley is.
Right.
She is a character whose entire power stems from her subjective, ruthless, highly cultivated human taste.
She dictates the future of fashion based on instinct alone.
Precisely. And what is artificial intelligence?
It's machine.
It is the ultimate algorithm. It generates content based on the average of what has already been done. It predicts the next word based on consensus.
That's a great point.
So you have this brilliant philosophical clash, right? The ultimate arbiter of human exceptionalism versus a machine designed to generate the average.
Which is totally a conflict worthy of a sequel.
Absolutely.
We know Miranda Priestley was, at least in part, inspired by the legendary Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour.
Yes.
So it's a role requiring immense gravitas.
Huh.
But I want to push back on the Hollywood mathematics here just a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Because we all know Meryl Streep is a living legend, 21 Oscar nominations. She is acting royalty.
Unquestionably.
But in an era where intellectual property, the brand itself, is usually the star, is Meryl Streep really a guaranteed box office draw today without a cape or a lightsaber?
Well, the data strongly suggests she absolutely is a draw, easily on the level of like a Keanu Reeves or a Ryan Gosling.
Really?
Yeah, it is just
Yeah,
activating an entirely different demographic. Think about her track record. She famously avoids sequels.
That's true.
Before 2006, her only sequel was Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Well, because who could resist more ABBA? That's just science.
Right. Aside from singing in Grease, she doesn't repeat herself. So for the audience, Meryl Streep returning to a role after 20 years operates as the ultimate seal of approval.
Oh, I see.
Her presence validates the quality of the movie before a single ticket is sold. It signals to the viewer that the script must be brilliant, otherwise she wouldn't have bothered.
That makes a lot of sense.
And look at the data you shared with us. Think about your own job. We are all dealing with the anxiety of automation or feeling like we are just feeding an algorithm at work.
Yeah, everybody's feeling that pressure right now.
Dropping a beloved 2006 nostalgic character into that specific 2026 nightmare is what makes the film feel urgent.
It is not just, hey, remember Miranda. It is, how would Miranda meticulously destroy a ChatGPT prompt trying to write a fall fashion spread?
Exactly.
That is brilliant. But as iconic as Streep is, the analysis makes a crucial point. She's only 25% of the equation here.
Yeah. To truly avoid the curse of the terrible sequel, the studio couldn't just get Meryl, recast the rest, and hope for the best.
No.
The entire ecosystem had to return.
The core four.
Yes.
Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. It is mind-boggling to look at how their careers have evolved since 2006.
It's crazy.
Back then, Anne Hathaway was still sort of transitioning out of her Princess Diaries era.
Right.
Emily Blunt was practically unknown to American audiences, and Stanley Tucci was a deeply respected character actor, but maybe not a household name globally.
And the evolution of this cast totally changes the gravity of the project. I mean, Hathaway went on to win an Academy Award.
Yep.
Blunt and Tucci both received Oscar nominations. You are looking at 4 legitimate top-tier A-listers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting just one of them to anchor a movie is a massive win for a studio. Getting all 4 to align their schedules, agree on a script, and sign on, that requires a miracle of Hollywood logistics.
You know, I have a theory about this,
I
actually.
hear it.
I don't think you pull off that logistical miracle unless these people actively want to spend time together.
Oh, I completely agree.
Because the audience isn't stupid. We've all seen movies where the actors clearly hate each other but are just smiling for the paycheck.
Oh, yeah, you can tell.
But here, the off-screen bond is real. I mean, Stanley Tucci and Emily Blunt actually became in-laws.
Yes.
Tucci married Felicity Blunt, Emily's sister, back in 2012. And there's that fantastic quote from them in the notes where they say, "We are so related, we're over-related."
I love that quote.
When you know that Stanley Tucci and Emily Blunt are literal family, it changes how you watch them interact on screen, doesn't it? But does that authentic connection actually translate to the bottom line?
Oh, it translates directly to the bottom line, and here's why. In modern Hollywood, studios use CGI and established comic book lore to mitigate financial risk, right?
Right.
If a movie has a $40 million digital battle sequence, the studio hopes the spectacle will cover up any flaws in the acting or the script.
Sure, just distract them with explosions.
Exactly. But this film has no CGI. It has no action sequences. In a grounded, character-driven movie, genuine chemistry is the primary risk mitigation tool.
Wow, chemistry as risk mitigation.
It is the special effect. You cannot artificially manufacture the spark between actors who truly understand and enjoy each other. As a financial asset, that chemistry is invaluable.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because we are talking about friendship as a tangible line item on a studio budget.
Exactly. When A-listers are real-life friends, it creates this infectious energy. It makes the dialogue snap faster. It makes the pregnant silences funnier.
Yeah.
It leaves fans, as the analysis puts it, starving for more. And if you watched any of the press junkets for this sequel, you saw it in real time.
Oh, they were so fun to watch.
Right. Press tours are usually these exhausting, repetitive affairs where actors are just trying to survive the day. But this group was having the time of their lives.
And I think it's the reason those iconic quotes from the first movie survived for 20 years in the cultural memory. Like, florals for spring, groundbreaking. Or, don't be ridiculous, Andrea, everybody wants this.
Classic lines.
You can't deliver lines like that and make them permanent cultural touchstones unless the chemistry supporting the dialogue is absolutely perfect.
Right. The audience isn't just paying to see a story. They're paying to spend 2 hours hanging out with a group of people who clearly love being together.
Yeah.
It is comfort food, but it is elevated to the highest possible standard.
But elevating comfort food to this caliber is wildly expensive.
Oh, very.
I mean, acquiring 4 Academy Award caliber actors, securing a bulletproof script, and actually filming it, that demands an enormous financial leap of faith from the studio.
And the numbers here are where the actual business of Hollywood comes into sharp focus.
Yeah, let's talk numbers.
The original film cost $35 million to produce. Even if you adjust that for inflation, you are looking at roughly $70 million in today's money.
Okay.
The sequel cost $100 million.
Wait, $100 million?
Yep.
For a movie about fashion editors. Where does all that money go when there are no spaceships to design or, cities to digitally destroy?
Well, first and foremost, the talent. Reassembling this cast is less like casting a standard movie and more like organizing a reunion tour for the Beatles.
That makes sense.
The individual members have become so immensely successful on their own over the last 20 years that their quotes, their required base salaries have completely skyrocketed.
Right.
The ticket price, or in this case, the budget, has to justify the reunion. A significant portion of that $100 million was simply the cost of getting the band back together.
You literally have to pay the chemistry premium.
Exactly.
And beyond the core cast, the analysis points out the expanded supporting roles, the massive celebrity cameos, which I'm sure did not come cheap.
Definitely not.
And that incredibly flashy third act set in Milan. I mean, in the first movie, going to Paris was a major plot point, but even then, the most expensive things on the screen were the borrowed designer outfits. Now, they are throwing real, tangible money at the screen in Milan.
20th Century Studios greenlit a 9-figure budget for a comedy drama. And to understand how rare that is, you have to look at how studios usually spend that kind of money.
Yeah, it's pretty unheard of.
For the last 10 years, the prevailing industry wisdom was that you only spend $100 million if you are targeting teenage boys with action franchises, or if you are making a 4-quadrant family animation.
Right, meaning a movie carefully designed to hit all 4 major demographics: young, old, male, and female.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? Why would a major studio take a $100 million risk on a movie that breaks all those established rules?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it means Hollywood finally woke up to a reality they've been ignoring for a long time.
Which is?
The demographic that loves this movie. You know, adults, a heavily female skewing audience, people looking for smart, character-driven narratives. That audience is just as valuable and just as economically reliable as the comic book movie crowd.
Wow. That is a massive paradigm shift in studio thinking.
It changes everything. The studio realized they weren't just funding a standalone movie. They were monetizing 20 years of built-in staying power and absolute audience trust.
Yeah.
They knew that if they built it correctly, if they didn't cut a single corner on the script or the cast, the audience would show up.
Right.
They firmly believed the film, as the industry says, would have legs, meaning it wouldn't just make a quick burst of cash on opening weekend and disappear. It would sustain its momentum week after week.
And clearly, looking at that $233 million international haul right out of the gate, their gamble paid off spectacularly.
It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that a sophisticated, well-crafted comedy for adults can be a global juggernaut.
Absolutely.
It does not have to be treated as a niche offering. They treated it with the financial respect of a massive tentpole franchise, the kind of movie designed to hold up an entire studio's yearly revenue, and it performed exactly like one.
It really shows that audiences aren't just passive consumers waiting for the next explosion.
No.
We actively crave sharp dialogue, masterful acting, and themes that actually reflect our daily lives.
Exactly.
So to sort of summarize what we've unpacked today, The Devil Wears Prada 2 didn't conquer the global box office through lazy nostalgia. They could have easily done that.
Oh, they could have phoned it in.
Right, rehashed the old jokes and taken the easy paycheck.
And if they had done that, it would have failed. The audience would have rejected it.
Instead, they succeeded by combining a hyper-relevant modern plot, taking the very real, very current anxiety of AI and algorithmic social media, replacing human expertise.
Yeah.
And combining that with the lightning in a bottle, practically family-level chemistry of its core cast.
Which is so rare.
And then, crucially, the studio backed up that creative excellence with serious, blockbuster-level financial investment.
It's a perfect storm. But this raises an important question, though.
What's that?
If a grounded, character-driven story from 2006 can seamlessly tackle today's anxieties about AI and digital media, and, do it to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, what other seemingly completed, non-franchise stories from the early 2000s are sitting on a goldmine of unresolved cultural relevance? What other classic characters are just waiting for the right modern conflict to spark a massive revival?
Oh, that is a fantastic thought to leave on. You can guarantee studio executives are aggressively scouring their vaults right now, desperately looking for the next Miranda Priestley to drop into a modern crisis.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, I hope this Soup Dive gave you a fresh lens on how and why certain cultural touchstones successfully bridge the generational gap in Hollywood. It is not magic. It is a very careful alchemy of timing, immense talent, and striking the exact right nerve of relevance. Thank you so much for sharing these fascinating materials with us. We love going on this journey with you. Until next time, keep your eyes on the box office, stay curious, and hey, gird your loins.